Hey guys, how are you today? Quick rant before we dive into today's chaos. As some of you might have noticed, YouTube's algorithm has decided I'm not special anymore. Shocking, I know. So now if you don't like, comment, or do a little backflip in the algorithm's honor, this video might just vanish into the void, never to be seen again. Seriously though, even a hi or "this is wild" in the comments helps way more than you think. It tells YouTube, hey, people actually like this channel. Maybe don't hide it from everyone. That can really help push my videos out to a wider audience, not just to my subscribers. So if you enjoy these stories and want to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. Now grab a drink, get comfy, and enjoy the drama. You won't want to miss this one. I, 37 female, have been married to my husband Jack, 41 male, for 5 years now. We do not have any kids together, but he has 2 from a previous marriage. His ex-wife, Amy, 40 female, has always been around because of the kids, which I totally understand. I never expected her to disappear from his life, especially since they co-parent. I respected that and tried to be understanding even when I felt a bit awkward or left out sometimes. But recently, something happened that made me see things very differently. Jack and I have a joint emergency fund. We built it together over the years, adding to it bit by bit. It was for things like unexpected medical bills, car repairs, or if one of us lost our job, just real emergencies. I have always been proud of how much we managed to save. It made me feel secure, like no matter what happened, we had a cushion to fall back on. A few weeks ago, I noticed that a big chunk of the money, over $20,000, was gone from the account. At first I panicked. I thought maybe there had been fraud or someone hacked the account. I asked Jack if he knew anything, and he just casually said, "Yeah, I took the money out." I asked what for, and he said it was for a family morale boost. I did not understand what that meant, so I asked for more details. He said he bought Amy a luxury SUV, not a used car or something practical, an actual luxury brand SUV that looked brand new. I thought I had heard wrong. I asked him why in the world he would do that, and he said Amy's old car broke down, and she needed a new one for taking the kids to school and their activities. He said she's been going through a tough time, and he did not want the kids to suffer because their mom was stressed. He said it would help everyone if she were in a better mood. I just stood there stunned. That was not an emergency, not our emergency. And even if it was, why did he not talk to me about it first? That was our shared money, our safety net. He did not even ask. When I told him I was not comfortable with what he did, he got defensive right away. He said I was being selfish, that I did not care about the kids' well-being, that I was jealous of Amy. I told him it was not about jealousy. It was about the fact that he took our money and gave a luxury gift to his ex-wife without even talking to me. He shrugged and said I needed to cope with it because the decision had already been made. He said I should look at the big picture, that this was a family morale thing, and he had done it for the kids. He kept repeating that, like that made it okay. I was not even sure what to say. It felt like a slap in the face. I have always been pretty respectful about the whole ex-wife situation. I did not complain when they had to text or call each other about the kids. I did not get in the way when she needed help or asked for favors. But this just felt like something else. This was a major financial decision made without me. And honestly, it did not seem like it was just about the kids. The car he bought her was not just a car. It was fully loaded, brand new, custom color, leather seats, the whole deal. It was not the kind of car you buy someone just to help them get from point A to point B. It felt like a gift, a fancy, expensive gift. The worst part was that he did not even seem to feel bad. He acted like I was being dramatic, that I was overreacting. He even said it's not like we are broke, but we are not rich either. We both work hard, and that emergency fund did not build itself. That was years of saving, budgeting, and skipping vacations. I skipped things I wanted to buy. I passed on upgrading my old car, also we could have a safety net. I started wondering if he still had feelings for Amy. I never really thought that before, but this whole situation made me question things. I did not say that to him. I did not want to add fuel to the fire, but the way he spoke about her, the way he defended her, and the way he did not think twice about giving her something so expensive, it made me think. I found out later from one of Jack's friends that he had been talking to Amy about the car for weeks. So it was not even a sudden decision. He had been planning it. He even went to the dealership with her and picked everything out together. That made me feel even worse. He knew all along what he was going to do, and he did not tell me. He just waited until it was done and then dropped it on me like it was no big deal. I started looking back on other moments, like the time he missed our anniversary dinner because Amy had a personal crisis, or the time he took the kids to a weekend trip and Amy came along for convenience. I let a lot of things slide, always thinking he was just trying to be a good dad, but now I am not so sure. I tried to bring it up again a few days later, hoping we could talk about it calmly, but Jack just shut it down. He said I needed to stop bringing it up, that I was being negative, that I was ruining the family mood. He made me feel like I was the bad guy for even questioning it. He's still acting like it was no big deal, like he did the right thing. He tells the kids that their mom's new car is thanks to him, and they love it. They keep talking about how cool it is, and he looks so proud when they say that. I spent days walking around with this heavy weight in my chest. I still cooked dinner, still went to work, still smiled when his kids came over and asked for help with their homework. But inside, I was just angry and tired. I started losing sleep. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and stare at the ceiling, thinking about the account, thinking about how I did not matter in that moment, thinking about how easily he had chosen Amy over me. One morning, I logged back into the joint account. I stared at the transaction again. It was all there: dealership name, amount, timestamp. It was so official, so clear, thousands of dollars gone. I sat there thinking about the hours I worked, the sacrifices I made, the vacations I did not take, the things I did not buy so we could grow that fund, and all of that was wiped out in one swipe of a card without my consent. I opened another tab and Googled how to report unauthorized use of a joint account. I did not really think I'd do anything. I just wanted to see what my options were. But the more I read, the more I realized I had a case. We both had to agree on big withdrawals. It was not a personal account. It was a shared one. I never signed off on that money. There were procedures for this sort of thing. It was not even about punishing Jack. It was about drawing a line. It was about saying, you can't just do whatever you want and expect me to stay quiet. I took screenshots of everything. The account history, the withdrawal, our account agreement from the bank. I made notes. I gathered all the info I could. Then I filed a report online and called the bank to confirm it. They said they would investigate it and get back to me. A week passed before anything happened. Jack did not know what I had done. He went on like everything was normal. Meanwhile, I was just waiting for the call, and when it came, they told me the transaction was flagged for being a large one-party withdrawal with no joint authorization. They froze the account. All access was paused. Jack found out a few days later when he tried to transfer money for the kids' school fees. I heard him cursing in the other room. He called the bank, and they told him there was a pending dispute on an unauthorized transaction. He stormed into the kitchen later that night, his whole face red, demanding to know if I had done it. I did not answer. I did not have to. He knew. He paced around the kitchen, fuming. He told me I was being petty, that I had gone too far, that I was ruining everything, that I was acting like a bitter ex-wife, not a partner. I just kept washing the dishes. I did not feel like defending myself anymore. I was done arguing. He told me the bank said they need written proof from both parties showing agreement for the purchase, and he knew he did not have that. I never said yes to any of it. Not in writing, not even verbally. He tried guilt. He said now the kids would suffer because the account was frozen and he couldn't move money around, that this would hurt them more than it hurt him. I did not respond to that either. I had been trying to be the bigger person for so long, and all it ever got me was pushed to the side. I checked my private account later that night and transferred more of my paycheck into it. I also changed the login credentials on all my personal accounts, canceled any shared credit cards, and made sure I had access to every bit of financial documentation I might need. Over the next week, the investigation continued. I got a few calls from the bank asking more questions, confirming details. I told them everything truthfully. I said I had not been informed. I had not agreed. It was our joint emergency fund, and I did not consent to a luxury car purchase for his ex-wife. That was all I said. They told me they were taking it seriously. Jack became colder after that. He was not yelling anymore, but there was distance, silence. He moved around the house like a ghost, not speaking to me unless it was about logistics. He slept in the guest room and kept his phone on silent. I did not care. I actually slept better. Then I got another call from the bank. They said they had ruled in my favor. The transaction was classified as unauthorized based on the joint account agreement and lack of dual consent. They had begun reversing it and would be freezing Jack's individual access to the account going forward. Jack found out later that day. He did not say anything, just packed an overnight bag and left the house without a word. I did not stop him. Amy messaged me the next day. I do not know how she found out, but she sent me a long, condescending text about how I had embarrassed Jack and made things harder for everyone. She said I was being spiteful and that this was bad for the kids. I did not even reply. I just blocked her. People always expect the new wife to bow her head and keep quiet, to be polite, to be patient, to be supportive. And I tried. For years, I really tried. But the second I put my foot down and said, "This isn't okay," I became the villain. Selfish, bitter, overreacting. I did not even get the money back for myself. It went right back into the account. But now I have full oversight. Now he can't just dip into it whenever he feels like it. Now there are consequences. Jack came back after a few days acting like nothing happened. He tried to pretend it was all just a rough patch and that we'd get over it. But something changed. I think he realized I was not just going to let things slide anymore. I was not going to keep playing the role of the supportive background character in a story where he was the hero and Amy was the struggling damsel in need. He does not talk about the car anymore. He does not talk about the kids either. He just exists in the same space, floating through the house like he's still trying to figure out what to say. But I do not think there's anything left to say. I started keeping a journal of every financial decision we made. I made copies of everything, bank statements, emails, texts. Not because I am planning something drastic, but because now I know I need to protect myself. I know now that being quiet and understanding does not guarantee love or respect. So now I am wondering, am I an a-hole for reporting my husband's withdrawal to the bank and freezing our joint account? Update 1. It's been a few weeks since the bank ruled in my favor, and things haven't exactly calmed down. Jack has been walking around the house like I betrayed him in the worst way possible. He does not yell anymore, but he's cold, short, passive-aggressive. Sometimes he does not come home at all, and then pretends nothing happened the next day. I guess I was expecting him to at least acknowledge that what he did was wrong, maybe even apologize. I do not know why I still had that kind of hope. Jack never really apologized for anything unless it was to keep the peace. But this time, he did not even try. He just acted like I stabbed him in the back for daring to stop him from spending our money without my consent. The awkward silence turned into full-on avoidance. He stopped eating dinner with me. He moved most of his stuff into the guest room permanently. The few conversations we had were just about groceries or bills or the kids' schedules. I did not push. I did not beg him to talk. I let the silence grow. One night after he got back late again, he finally decided to say something. He stood in the hallway while I was folding laundry and said he couldn't forgive me, that he felt deeply betrayed by my decision to report the transaction to the bank, that I turned on him like he was the enemy, and that if I really loved him, I would have talked to him, not humiliated him like that. I did not even look up from the laundry. I just said, "We are even then, because I can't forgive you either." He did not respond to that. He just stood there for a second and then walked away. And I meant it. I can't forgive him. Not just for the money, but for how he made me feel. Small, invisible, like my opinion did not matter. Like I was just a roadblock in his little fantasy life where Amy was still someone he needed to please. That hurt more than the money. After that conversation, things shifted even more. He started acting like a roommate, a cold, unpleasant one. He did his own laundry, cooked his own food, and kept to himself. I started doing the same. We lived in the same house, but it felt like we were on different planets. Then Amy showed up at our door one afternoon. I was home early from work. She knocked like she owned the place. When I opened the door, she looked surprised to see me. I did not say anything, just crossed my arms and waited. She said she was there to talk to Jack and asked if he was home. I told her no. She looked me up and down like she was trying to figure out how far she could push me, then asked if I had a problem with the car. I told her I had a problem with my money being used without my permission. She rolled her eyes and muttered something about how everyone makes sacrifices for family and how I was being dramatic. I did not say anything back. I just shut the door. Later that night, I told Jack not to ever send Amy to my doorstep again. He did not even deny it. He just shrugged and said she wanted to talk to me. Like that made it okay. I think that is when I realized we were not even pretending anymore. This marriage was over in everything but legal terms. We did not trust each other. We did not respect each other. We barely spoke. He kept acting like I destroyed something sacred. But the truth is he destroyed it the moment he decided I did not deserve a voice. I started meeting with a financial advisor on the side. Quietly, I wanted to know what my options were, how to separate finances fully, what I'd be entitled to if I walked away. I did not tell Jack. I did not need him blowing up or twisting it into more betrayal. The advisor was kind and straightforward. He went over everything with me and said I was doing the right thing by protecting myself. We talked about separate accounts, paperwork, and potential mediation. I walked out of there feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time: clarity. Around the same time, Jack started guilt-tripping me again. He suddenly became more present. He started eating with me again, asking how my day was, acting like we were just going through a rough phase. It was fake, and I knew it. He was not doing it out of love. He was doing it because he was afraid I might really leave. He started saying things like, "Do not throw this away over one mistake," and "You are being spiteful over money that went to help family." He kept using that word family, like I was not part of it, like I was just some outsider trying to mess things up. He told me I was cruel for freezing the account, that it caused him embarrassment when the dealership started calling him about delayed payments, and that I made him look weak in front of Amy. I did not care. I am not his reputation manager. I am not here to make him look good to his ex-wife. I am his wife, or at least I was. His behavior got weirder after that, like he was trying to keep one foot in both worlds. One day he'd be trying to charm me. The next he'd be texting Amy and hiding his phone screen like a teenager. He started being more secretive, more defensive, but also more desperate to keep me from doing anything drastic. Too late for that, I guess. I do not know what Jack expected when he spent our money on Amy. I do not know if he thought I would just cry a little and then get over it. I do not know if he thought I'd be grateful he shared the decision with me after the fact. But what he got was someone who was done playing nice, done waiting for him to choose me, done pretending things were fine. I have started preparing for a life without him, quietly, carefully. I do not know when I'll tell him yet. Maybe after the papers are in place. Maybe after I am in my own place. I do not know. But I do know this. I am not going to be the one begging to be seen. Not anymore. Update 2. A lot has happened since my last post, and honestly, it still feels a little surreal. I guess I knew deep down that leaving was inevitable. But even with all the signs, the planning, the meetings with the lawyer and financial advisor, I did not expect it to happen the way it did. It was not some huge blow-up. It was not dramatic. It was just one last moment of casual cruelty from Jack, and something in me finally snapped. It was a Saturday morning. I had taken a day off work the day before and finalized the lease on a small 2-bedroom apartment. It's nothing fancy, but it's clean, quiet, and mine. I had already moved a few things over secretly: clothes, important documents, and a few sentimental items. I was planning to tell Jack I was leaving sometime that weekend. I was not expecting any kind of understanding from him, but I thought I at least owed him a heads up. Then that morning, we were in the kitchen again. He was annoyed because I had taken the car the night before, and apparently Amy had needed help picking something up for her daughter. I guess she still has him on speed dial for errands. He made some comment about how if I was going to keep treating his home like a hotel, I could at least coordinate my schedule better. His home. Like I was just squatting there. I did not say a word. I did not argue. I did not ask what he meant or try to defend myself. I just stared at him for a second, turned around, went into the bedroom, and sent a message to the movers I'd already scheduled for Monday morning. "Can we do today instead?" They replied, "Yes." I said I'd pay extra. I told them to meet me in 2 hours. Then I packed. I moved around the house calmly, like I was just tidying up. Jack did not even notice. He was watching something on his phone and did not look up. I packed whatever I hadn't already moved into my car and a couple of suitcases. I called a cab for the rest so I could take the car with me. I even cleaned the kitchen counter before I left. He did not notice I was gone until several hours later. I know because that is when the call started. I did not pick up. I did not need to hear his fake confusion or sudden declarations of love. I did not want to hear him tell me I was being immature or cold or making a mistake. I just wanted to be gone, and I was. My new place is small, but it's peaceful. The first night I slept there, I woke up early, made coffee, and just sat in silence. No tension, no walking on eggshells, no cold shoulders or guilt trips, just quiet. I cried a little, not because I missed him, but because I felt free for the first time in years. Of course, once he realized I was not coming back, the tone of his messages changed. At first, it was confusion. "Where are you? Why are you doing this? Can we talk?" Then it was anger. "I can't believe you left like that. You are being dramatic. You are going to regret this." Then it was guilt tripping. "You broke this family. You could have at least talked to me. I was trying to make things work." Now it's begging. He says he can't sleep, that he misses me, that he'll do whatever it takes to fix this, that he did not realize how much he needed me until I was gone, that he was stupid, that Amy means nothing, that the car was just a gesture, that he'll sell it, return it, cut her off completely. Too late. He wants me to come home. He says we can start fresh, that he'll be better, that we'll go to therapy, that we can figure things out together. But I do not want to go back to being someone who begs for space, for respect, for basic decency. I do not want to live in a house where I am treated like an outsider, where I am made to feel like I do not belong. He still does not get it. It was not just the money. It was not just Amy. It was the way he always chose her comfort over mine, her approval over my partnership, the way he expected me to be quiet, to accept, to forgive without question, the way he gaslit me into thinking I was selfish when I dared to stand up for myself. I did not leave because of one thing. I left because of everything. And now that I am out, I am not going back. I do not owe him closure. I do not owe him forgiveness. I gave him years of patience, support, and loyalty, and he gave it all to someone else. I am taking care of myself now, quietly, calmly, with no drama, no scenes, no begging, and the silence on my end. That is the closure. Update 3. I was not planning to post again, but this felt like the last piece of the story, and I needed to get it out. After everything that has happened, I honestly thought the chaos was done. But then something unexpected happened. Amy showed up at my apartment. It was a regular evening. Someone knocked on the door. I did not expect anyone, so I peeked through the peephole. I froze. It was Amy. She looked completely different, tired, worn out, like she'd been crying. For a second, I considered not opening the door, but I was too curious. I opened it just a crack, and she asked if we could talk, just 5 minutes. I let her in. She did not come in with an attitude or fake niceness like before. She was quiet, clearly emotional, but trying to hold it together. She stood near the door and did not even sit down. She got straight to the point. She told me Jack had lied to her too. Apparently, he told her I was fully aware of the car purchase, that I had no problem with him spending from the joint emergency fund, that I was supportive of their co-parenting relationship, and even thought buying her the car was a nice gesture to keep things peaceful in the family. Basically, he made it sound like I was cool with all of it, and that I only left because I couldn't handle stress. According to him, I was controlling and dramatic. Amy said she believed him at first, which explained why she acted the way she did, smug, dismissive, and confident that she had the moral high ground. She only started questioning things when she overheard Jack talking to his brother. He mentioned how I blew up when I found out about the car. Jack's brother, who apparently knew the full story, was not having it. He told Jack it was his fault and said I had every right to leave. That is when Amy realized something was not adding up. She came to me to get the truth. I did not go into detail, but I confirmed what she needed to hear. I never agreed to the car. I did not know about it. I did not tell him to stay close to her. He made all those decisions on his own and justified it later with lies. Amy did not try to apologize for everything she said or did before. I think she knew it wouldn't matter at this point. She just stood there quiet, looking more hurt than angry. After a while, she said she was done with Jack too, and she left without another word. Since then, Jack has been trying to reach out, constant texts, missed calls, and even emails. He sent flowers to my workplace. He says he wants to talk and work things out. He says he did not mean to hurt anyone. I have blocked him on everything. I have spoken to a lawyer. I am finalizing everything we had left financially. I have moved what I needed into my own account and taken steps to fully separate from him. I already moved out. Amy showing up was not something I expected, but it made everything a little clearer. Jack was not just inconsiderate, he was manipulative. He told us both different stories to keep control. He tried to be the good guy in the middle while messing with both our lives. I do not feel angry at Amy anymore, just tired. She was a part of the mess, but she was also lied to, just like me. And I think now she sees him for who he really is. There's no fixing anything with Jack. There's no rebuilding trust after this. He made choices and tried to cover them up with lies. He thought he could juggle everything and come out looking noble, but it all collapsed. This is the last update. I do not want to talk about him anymore. I am done explaining and justifying how I feel. I walked away and I am staying away. He can tell whatever story he wants now. I am not going to correct it. I am not going to argue. I just do not care anymore. Not the a-hole. He stole from emergency fund to buy his ex-wife a luxury SUV and then had the audacity to call it a family morale boost. That isn't co-parenting. That's playing hero in Amy's life using OP's money. The fact that he planned it for weeks, went to the dealership with her, chose custom options, and hid it from OP until it was done tells OP he knew it was wrong. Reporting it wasn't petty. It was the only way to force accountability when he refused to treat OP like an equal partner. And now let's hear community's opinion. Not the a-hole, and the gaslighting is the part that should scare you the most. He flipped it into, you're jealous. You don't care about the kids. You're ruining the family mood. When the reality is he removed your consent from a major financial decision. Then he lied to Amy and told her you approved it, which means he's comfortable manipulating both women to keep his image clean. You didn't embarrass him. He embarrassed himself by getting caught doing something he couldn't justify in daylight. Not the a-hole. Also, the kids will suffer is such a cheap emotional hostage tactic. If he cared about stability for the kids, he would have bought a reliable, reasonably priced vehicle from his own funds or worked out a plan with you. Instead, he raided the safety net you built together and chose the flashiest, most expensive option possible. That wasn't about school runs. That was about impressing Amy and feeling powerful. Good on you for protecting yourself and separating finances, because he proved he can't be trusted with shared resources. Not the a-hole. And honestly, Update 3 confirmed what a lot of people suspected. Jack was playing both sides. He told Amy you approved it, told you it was for the kids, and tried to position himself as the noble guy stuck between two difficult women. He wanted you to swallow the disrespect quietly, so he could keep being Amy's rescuer and still come home to you. The second you stopped cooperating, his entire story collapsed. Blocking him and finalizing the separation is the healthiest ending here.